How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zan over here bringing us a brand new Bungou Stray Dogs anime discussion. And for today's statement, guys, we are going to be talking about Bungou Stray Dogs episode 11, or as like to call it, blah 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 blah, the season 2, etc, etc, etc. Anywho, the point is, this anime episode was overall great animation, great textile, and everything was perfect. I did love the fact that the way the characters were interacting within one another in this episode, due to the fact that the Great Gatsby's actual power was finally revealed, as a lot of us were speculating as to wondering how the heck is this guy so strong every time he was facing Octagawa and freaking Atsushi. We finally figured out in this freaking episode, and I for one was actually freaking laughing at the fact that the whole entire time Scott Fitzgerald is the epitome of evil. Freaking the epitome of freaking evil. Like, on a huge scale from 0 to 100. Really quick, I was laughing throughout the whole entire time. But it was laughter with the episode itself. Not at the episode, but with the episode. Due to the fact that F. Scott Fitzgerald, in this episode, was shown that his strength comes from money itself. From freaking money. The money that he's been money laundering, or whatever a company enterprise that he has, that wealth that he gained so much throughout this whole entire series, or prior to the series, doesn't matter how long he got to get that point. But the point is that the way that his powers works is the more money he spends, the more stronger he gets. And I, for one, was excited because, you know, when you think of a villain, you think of someone that's very lecherous, someone who, you know, who has worked their way to the top in a very malicious way. But, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald, the way that he kind of sets himself on the throne, he puts himself based on the beliefs that, you know, the rich are rich, the strong are strong. You know, basically he has this like very concrete belief that, you know, those that are on top, they will stay on top, and those that are at the bottom, they're gonna stay there at the bottom due to the fact that, you know, they are not working hard as how the rich people have come to be. And I was for one kind of like very excited when I actually kind of saw his power, due to the fact, you know, like there was another webcomic, I believe it was The Gamer. Yes, The Gamer. They freaking did the same thing where one of the villains' power was based on money itself, or how rich a company is, and they use the money from that company to strengthen oneself. And I, for one, was laughing at the fact that it just reminded me of that webcomic, The Gamer. But like I said, F. Scott Fitzgerald, like that power really fitted into F. Scott, you know, his character. It really fit into his character and overall persona as to how he really is. And I actually, for one, was actually excited to see that F. Scott Fitzgerald went over the top in this episode. But, you know, the thing about it was that he was still a minor character throughout the whole entire plotline of this episode itself. Not the series, but the episode. Due to the fact that Octagawa and Atsushi themselves were actually involved in this episode, and they were trying to fight, you could say, Fitzgerald at the same time, but with their own personal beliefs and values. You know, they were both going at Fitzgerald one at a time, but that's because they were both arguing at the fact that, you know, that they're trying to, I would say, they're trying to one-up Daizai-san, or they look up to him, or they're kind of using him as a stepping stool or a reason to actually keep fighting that amongst themselves, while F. Scott Fitzgerald is right there looking at them saying, like, you know, I'm this much of a threat to you guys. How are you guys not seeing it? And I, for one, was thinking to myself at the same time when I'm watching this episode, that yes, you know, how are you guys not working together to face this enemy? You guys clearly are losing at the same time. But, you know, of course, it's to build up that character for both of these characters in order for them to actually have meaning to them to team up. Because, you know, of course, a story can't just have these two randomly just team up against each other. Because, you know, these two characters have been villains throughout the whole entire series. And granted, though, Octagawa, in this episode, I feel like this was the epitome of his character, honestly. Due to the fact that in this episode, we see Octagawa actually talking to Atsushi, you know, while he was facing Fitzgerald. But the thing about that was, I love the dialogue that he was actually saying to Atsushi's character at the same time. Both these characters were talking smack to each other. But the thing about that was, that while they were actually talking smack, they were really laying down the law on each other and actually exploiting their weaknesses and telling the truth about each other. And actually, while they were talking smack, you could kind of see that they're actually, the way they were explaining each other, they're really, how do I say, they're not so as depressing as one would think as to how the characters sees themselves. Like, take for instance Octagua in this episode. He sees himself as a very weak person who wants to get the recognition from Daizai-san, but apparently he keeps trying to prevail himself and keeps trying to overcome his trials and try to become a stronger person in general. But Atsushi pointed out in the episode that no, the way I see it is that you're such a strong character, you don't need Daizai's recognition. Or actually, Daizai already recognized you as a strong person, but you yourself don't see that. But since of course, he's a thick-headed son person. And I love the fact that Atsushi said that, because it's true. After watching this episode, you guys are really gonna appreciate Octagua's actual sense of belief. That I think it's that same reason that Octagua is actually at that point, or how strong it was, because he's using Daizai-san as a stepping stone to say, no, I need to be at this level in order for myself to say that, yes, I am that strong. Even though he is like probably on the same par, but he wants to be on Daizai-san's level. But I think Daizai didn't say nothing throughout the whole entire time. Most for fact, because he knows it. He just knows it. He's just not gonna say it, because probably he's just messing with the kid. I think it's just Daizai-san just messing with him, honestly, just psychologically. Because I think they both, not necessarily. I would say I don't think Daizai-san hates him. I just think it's just saying that you're just not worth my time. But I'm not gonna say nothing, because you should know it by now. Like, I think it's just more of a teacher saying that, I'm not gonna tell you something that you should already know. Like, that's the way I see what Daizai-san is saying to Octagua. And I'm loving the fact that it was that in this episode. Now, with Atsushi's character in this episode, now, that was entertaining because Octagua actually said something very important. That was, you have so much riches in this world that you don't see yourself actually noticing it. He has friends, he has family, he has a welcoming party always amongst himself. He's never gonna be alone like how Octagua was. And yet Atsushi's always saying, I am lonely, I am always depressed. But I like the way that Octagua was saying throughout the whole entire time was the fact, why are you putting yourself down when you know for yourself as well that you have somebody that cares for you no matter what, and that is his teacher Daizai-san. I for one was kind of shocked at the dialogue in this episode. It was very, very powerful. And noticing that these two characters, these two main primary characters were going at it. While it was all very flashy and all, but the part about it was the dialogue. So it was that powerful that you have to just read between the lines in this. It was that intense. Granted though, the episode, like I said, it was flashy. Yes, we got to see so much power-ups from both characters. Octagua was Rashomon actual power-up, as he has like this ultimate like double-edged sword attack where he puts Rashomon as like his body armor. I loved that in this episode. It was so entertaining to watch, as it actually made him on par with F. Scott Fitzgerald. But like I said, F. Scott Fitzgerald is the epitome of evil, and has the biggest money whatsoever, which puts him still at the top. But at the end of the episode, Octagua and Atsushi were actually they finally put themselves together after having that little conversation that they had, and that's what I loved about it. And then now they have a reasoning to, because they both actually saw their own strengths and weaknesses while conversating with each other, and they're gonna finally face Fitzgerald for once and for all. Granted, I think that's gonna be the next episode is gonna be the last episode, so I'm kind of assuming that Octagua is gonna die due to the fact that I was noticing at the ending song that it shows Octagua it's showing him naked across a pool. I'm assuming that's gonna be that it's like a foreshadow that he might die. I'm not too sure. I haven't read the manga yet because I just love this anime. I do not like to be spoiled for this anime because it's gonna spoil the moment of how the anime is gonna be for me. And honestly, for me that's just how it is for this particular anime, because I'm loving this anime. Like, it's so great, honestly. But like I said though, anime was so great. I'm loving the fact that like the color scheme that they actually used in the episode 2 was very eye appealing as well. Due to the fact we see Octagua's red, what's called Atsushi's bluish tint all around him, and F. Scott Fitzgerald's yellow tint. Like all the ray colors was so overwhelming for the viewer that you're gonna be intrigued still to keep watching it too. And I'm loving the fact that it's so funny that the way they did the color scheme for Atsushi and Octavo was so powerful. Like the way they were walking towards F. Scott Fitzgerald was like a yin and yang balance right there, heading to F. Scott Fitzgerald, like the golden tower. Like it was, like I said, all the imagery and everything was so spectacular. Like there was so much symbolism in every aspect of everything. Like I said, Octagua had the black and red, making him seem like a strong and fierce and independent person that it was. That, like, when you see these colors, it vibrates his character. And Atsushi's is white, blank emptiness. Like you just see that. You see that with freaking Atsushi's character. Like I'm telling you, the color schemes, everything is just so overwhelmingly powerful. And you see F. Scott Fitzgerald's gold color scheme and green to emphasize the green. I'm assuming is to emphasize how rich he is, and the gold to emphasize how proud of a person that he's like on an entity of a high level. Like I said, it's all like this episode was just very, very much symbolic and so much mean that I was just in love with this episode. But that's about it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I don't know what else to talk, but like honestly, oh my god, I was in love with this episode. Honestly, I did love with it. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought on your actual favorite part of the episode. What you guys think about that, the color schemes? I personally thought that the color schemes was pretty entertaining. What do you guys think also about Octagua? Do you guys think Octagua's gonna die in the next episode? I mean, look how frail his body is, and he did that Rashomon body armor. To me, that looked like a double-edged sword that he probably might die. If not, who cares? As long as Octagua is still alive, doesn't matter. He'll still progress through the story itself. But like I said, guys, let me know down in the comments. Oh, and also, what are you guys' thoughts on the Moby Dick? Do you really guys think it's gonna land it? Like, where are they gonna land this giant creature? Like, honestly, I don't know where they're gonna put this thing at. Honestly, even if they rescue Octagua and the whole city, like, I honestly don't know where they're gonna put this whole Moby Dick thing. Like, honestly, and that's my cat. But yeah, that's it. That's all for today, guys. If you guys enjoy my content, give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Bungou Stray Dogs anime discussions, and also check out my other fall 2016 playlist, as I also review other animes as well. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen signing out.